What's up, ladies and gentlemen? It is the King and I Life podcast, hosted by myself, Soul Toucher the Poet, and my brother, Son Soul X, in his joint. Check it out. Hit us up, www.kingandilife.com, for all our podcast info. Subscribe to whatever podcast platform that you choose. Also, hit us up, KINGANDEYE369@gmail.com. Email us your suggestions, your feedback, and all that good stuff. Tune in to us live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter, Wednesdays, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. And make sure you like, subscribe, and share, because we are all over all those social media platforms. Stay tuned for the good stuff. Yeah, we out. And annual grants to Israel. Now, that does not account for, where is it? The 32 billion that the United States sends to other countries around the world. That has been sent so far this year.
Wow. Those are stupid numbers. Numbers.
I want to get back to the topic because I don't want to go down that can of worms.
Okay. All right. Okay. We'll get off it. We're just throwing out some facts and figures right there. It's all
now,
good.
I'm not going to say those are accurate numbers, but I'm going to say we send out a lot of money to help a lot of countries. I'll leave it at that, and I'll move on. And my next question to pose,
all right,
is Russia committing war crimes, in your opinion?
I do believe they are, man. I get the whole thing of, let's say they wanted to defend themselves, or they're taking measures to defend themselves against what they think will be a threat to them in the future, meaning if Ukraine joins NATO. At the end of the day, how in the hell do civilians, babies, kids, women, old people, how in the hell do they have anything to do with that shit? Meaning, I get, okay, let me attack their military bases. Let me stop their supply chain. I get that. But these are innocent people who don't know the first thing about carrying a gun. You having innocent babies or just being born and they're going through this. You know what kind of trauma that is? Like, hell yes, they're committing military damn. It just frustrates me to heaven and hell. Because these are definitely war crimes, and you can't spell it out any simpler than that. Innocent people don't deserve to lose their lives over because two countries are having a dispute. Again, if it's a military thing, stick with the military thing and let that go. But just imagine being in your home, in your apartment or your house or whatever the case may be, and having a freaking bomb dropped across the street. I can't even imagine that shit. And then if it does happen, how do you even retaliate against that? It's a fucking bomb.
The simplest way to look at this, is, in a lot of our neighborhoods in America, we have people just trying to live their lives every day. And you have two rival gang members shooting at each other, and an innocent person happens to get shot. That's the simple way to compare that. Now, if we go what Sun Soul X just said, you just trying to live your life, and a bomb hits your apartment building. A bomb hits the school your child is in. A bomb hits a hospital. People walking down the street are getting shot, raped, massacred. These are war crimes to the 10th power. Now, there is a such thing as collateral damage. Where innocent people get killed, but it's not on purpose. That's also a tragedy because that was not your target. They are targeting civilians. And it's like, yo, why is that okay? It's like, why is that okay? We could not get away with that. We could not get away with that. We would not even. I can say that if any of our military members did something like that, they'd be in jail. No ifs, ands, buts about it. This stuff is crazy. And yeah, when you go to war, you hit military targets. You don't target civilians. Like, but then when you look at this, again, when you step back and look at this, it's like, why? What is this for? What are you trying to prove? Like, because they don't want to be communists, because they want to be a democracy, because they want to join NATO so they can have protections. Like, I can't get into this dude's head. I'm not going to try, but all I can do is sit back and say this is crazy.
I totally agree with you. Yeah, I'm trying to keep my emotions out of it, man. Because again, when I think of human life,
Mm-hmm.
if anyone has a freaking soul, like, how do you attack civilians? Like, these are, again, human freaking beings, and you're attacking them unarmed. Again, it's just like walking up the street, somebody going to work, minding their own business, and out of nowhere, somebody attacks them.
Yep.
It just frustrates me to heaven and hell. But anyway, I'll keep cool. Thoughts on Russia citizens being arrested for protesting the war?
That's what happens when you live in that type of government. Um, I know a lot of people complain, bitch, gripe, and whine about our government and shit, but we don't have to worry about that. Like, for simply disagreeing with the war, you going to jail. That's what they do over there. They control TV over there. They control internet over there. They control everything over there. But to be fair, for the vast majority of them, it's not as bad as we see it. But just to think that if you protest something that you don't like that the government is doing, you can go to jail, that's crazy. That is crazy. Crazy. And I could not imagine not having the freedom to dislike something because I have a soul, because I cherish human life. Just imagine living under those conditions.
Yeah, it's a whole nother world, they say. For speaking out or protesting, those people, I'm gonna call them brave. I know some people may disagree with me um, on that sentiment, but if you live in a country where you know that speaking out against things of this nature, against injustice against humanity,
Mm-hmm.
will get you thrown in a Russian prison. And from what I've heard, it's not the nicest place in the world to be.
Right.
I just have to call an ace an ace. You're brave, in my opinion. Um, Living in a society where everything is controlled like that, where you can get in trouble for just writing down your own thoughts about something, a particular subject. You don't even have to voice it. You're just writing it down. And if it happened to fall in the wrong hands, you can be sent to prison or lose your life behind it. That, ladies and gentlemen, is a crazy ass way to live. And I know that there are citizens within that country who totally disagree. They're fine with how things are being ran in that country, and that's their business. But as one human being to another human being, who the fuck wants to be kept in a fucking cage? Yes, you can move around like you want to, but you're still basically in a cage. It's kind of like being on the inside of a prison where you have access to go almost any place you want to go, but you can't think how you want to think. You can't feel how you want to feel. You can't use your voice to empower not only yourself, but to empower others. That's just insanity to me. And again, I agree with Soul Toucher that, within our country, we can speak out against our government. We can say if we agree or disagree. But that's a right that we have. Imagine not being able to have that right. Kind of like not even having the right to be a human being. You can't be yourself. That's crazy. But I'll move on.
Yeah. I mean, the only thing I could follow up with that is this is why people left from over there, came over here, and established this country. Uh, that's why they came over here because they didn't want to live with that. That's what that was widespread over there. Not exactly how it is in Russia, but you had a king over there, and that one person ruled, and you could not, you had to do what they said do. So just imagine, you know, just imagine a world where it was still like that. And I'm not gonna get into politics and all this, that, and other, but this is why I say, hey, if we here participate, because them over there in Russia, they don't have the luxuries and the freedoms that we have. Again, a lot of them don't have it bad, but when you look at being arrested for voicing your opinion against something that you don't like the government is doing, we can do that all day, every day. I don't like what you're doing. I disagree with your policies. I think that's stupid. No to war. We've had people protest wars before in America. You don't get thrown in jail for that. So I mean, again, I started following this girl in Russia. Her name is Ellie from Russia. Um, I started watching her videos because it was the first video of hers that I saw was how are Russians doing with sanctions, and you know she had her camera or phone, whatever she was filming with, going through the mall and all this, that, and the other. Um, and a lot of things are shut down because a lot of companies pulled out of there. But you know, she was pretty much saying, it's not that bad, but it's a struggle. But at the end of the day, it's like protesting over there gets you arrested. And um, the government controls everything. So they have to use a VPN in order to use social media and stuff like that. Like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all that shit is blocked. They can't use the actual apps. They have to go through their web browser on their phone in order to get on that stuff. I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah, I have to check that out. That's different, put it kindly.
Yeah.
So Russia using propaganda on its people to justify their actions.
That's another one of those things that unfortunately they have to deal with. And that goes back to your point of what you were saying earlier about how do we know what's real and what isn't. Imagine how they feel. Imagine what they're going through because the truth is actually being blocked from them. They're being told one thing about Ukraine. They're being told one thing about how the war is going, and we're seeing more of what actually is going on over there. So when they're sneaking to go behind VPNs because Russian TV has to put on this front that everything is good and everything is justified, and if they go against the grain, they get shut down. They get straight shut down. Or if a particular person is not saying what the government wants them to say, they get pulled the hell off TV. I mean, just imagine going through that.
Thing about it is they're programming this. If everything's controlled on your television, everything's controlled on your phones, everything's controlled on social media, everything's controlled on your radio. They're basically programming the people to learn or to know what they want them to know. So again, for whatever reason they gave the Russian people, they're saying this is why we're doing what we're doing. And they're programming them every day, every minute, every second. Again, it's just another form of control. And if you don't like being controlled, I'm gonna throw your ass in jail.
Mm-hmm.
How you like them apples? Is basically what they're doing to these people over there. Propaganda is widespread, I'm sure, as far as we know, in that country. And again, imagine waking up in a world where you can't do or say what it is you want to say. You can't even have a conversation with your fellow citizens about what you're truly feeling, because you're frightened that one of them may run back and tell the authorities.
Yep.
And I can't say I'm sure, but I would, you know what, I ain't even gonna say that. But anyway, it's just another situation of do as I say, not as I do. Being pushed all the way down from the top of their government down to the common people.
And it's sad.
That it is.
So, as far as Russia being held accountable. What are your thoughts on that?
Who's gonna hold them accountable besides what they're doing now?
I
And
don't
throwing
know.
some sanctions my way. You're not allowing your Burger King or McDonald's or whatever. You're pulling those countries out of my country or those businesses out of my country. So you're slowing things down, but you can't stop it. So again, who's big and bad enough to put Russia over their knee and spank their ass?
Ain't no telling.
So even with NATO and all of their greatness, it's not like they're knocking on Putin's front door and saying, "Hey, you gotta cut this shit out." Again, you're slowing them down, but you can't stop them. Will anybody be able to hold Russia accountable? I don't know. That's going to be an interesting situation to observe in the future. But as of
Yeah.
right now, I'm going to say no. You can implement all these sanctions that you want for however long you want, but Russia has resources on its own. And they're still trading with other countries around the world. So
Mm-hmm.
do what you want, say what you want. Can't stop them. Can only slow them down. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I don't know. Other than the sanctions, again, I'm not the expert out there. The other than the sanctions, that's the only way Russia is going to be accountable. But at the end of the day, that's going to affect people who are not responsible or even cool with this nonsense that's going on. It's very unpopular over there, so I just don't see. I don't see how Russia is going to be held accountable. Um, I don't know the inner workings of their government and this, that, and the other. I haven't you know dove into like we have Republicans and Democrats over here, and if you mess up, you're gonna be held accountable for it. I don't know if it's like that over there. Um, and as far as outside countries holding them accountable, I don't even know what that looks like. Um, so I don't know. I kind of feel like um he's gonna do all of this. It's gonna be what it's gonna be, and he gonna go sit his ass down and call it a day. Because I honestly don't see what else can be done or can be done. Period, to hold him accountable for what he's done, what he's doing, and what he will do in the next weeks and however long this goes. I just don't know. I have no idea.
Yeah. Again, this isn't a small country we're talking about. This is a world superpower. That's kind of like how the shoe was on the other foot of other countries telling us they're going to correct us, meaning the U.S., if we did something that was um, not beneficial to another country. Who is that big and bad that's going to check the U.S.?
Uh, I see what you're saying, but it's kind of different in a way because because of NATO, because of all the alliances that we have with a whole bunch of other countries, I think the impact would be hit us harder because we have all those alliances. You have to look at it like this. If you look at it from a global perspective, um, we are tied into the economies of a lot of countries on this planet, And if we did something like what Russia is doing, I think the implications would be harder on us than Russia. And I say that because we're a part of NATO. We're a part of a whole bunch of other things. Um, we are the biggest country and provider in NATO, but there are more countries in NATO than just us, and we can get kicked out of NATO. They can break trade agreements with us. They can do a whole bunch of things. And the crazy thing about that is, let's just say we do mess. Let's just say the United States, for whatever reason, does something real messed up. Sanctions on us would hurt bad. If you look at the average American person now that's struggling for whatever reason, whether it's putting food on the table, keeping the lights on, gas in the car, whatever the case may be, and we get hit with sanctions and Joker stop trading with us, that's gonna hurt. That would hurt. We might be big and bad and be like, oh, we don't need y'all because we got this, that, and the other. But at the end of the day, you have to look at how many of our companies are in foreign countries. And if we do something stupid, they say, you know what? You got to get the fuck out. It's going to hurt them, but it's going to hurt us.
I agree with that. But at the end of the day, it'll be one of those situations where, yeah, you hurt us, but you damn sure as hell can't stop us. You can slow us down, but you can't stop us.
But the
And
thing
a lot of
about
it
it
has to do with our own way of life. Meaning, we do, like you said, so much business around the world. We're part of so many world organizations. Again, NATO being one of those major organizations. So yeah, it would hurt us damn near to the core. But one thing I do know about American citizens and the nation of the U.S., I'm not saying this because I'm a citizen here, but these motherfuckers over here are resourceful. Somehow, some way, they gonna make a way.
Yeah,
that's just what it is.
We'll make a way, but let's just hope for the sake of
This is all hypothetical, people. All hypothetical. We're not going there. But
let's just hope for the sake of good conscience and good business that we never have a situation to where our politicians fuck up. Let's just put it right there, because honestly, I would hate for us to, as a country, to be put in a position to where we get isolated.
Yeah, that would suck.
I mean, because you got to look at it like this: a lot of the things that we use is imported from other countries. Rubber, shit for batteries, for electronics, electric vehicles, and a lot of shit is imported. So yeah, just it's hypothetical. So and hopefully it'll stay that way.
I know you're right about that side.
Shit, I couldn't even imagine, man. I really couldn't. Yeah. That would hurt.
It would really hurt. It would hurt.
And the other thing that would hurt is, it's bad enough that some some places around the world tolerate us. They're not too they're not too chummy with us, but just imagine it gets to the point to where it's like, look, I know you want to go to Europe or Africa or wherever for vacation, but they don't like us over there, so I suggest you not go. I would hate for it to get to that point.
Yeah.
I mean,